Hello, YouTube. This is the Galley La Podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing One Piece Manga Chapter 1137, introducing Shamrock. So, so this was a great chapter. We had the cover story, and Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate infiltrate the sketchy hideout.
Yeah, we're getting
trash.
We're getting into who's thing, but yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go.
Okay, in the 14 years since King Harold's death, no one has dared approach his castle. And lo and behold, we have the Straw Hats approaching the castle too.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I love the art. I think it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It keeps it's like cool, mysterious, adventurous, and then ominous at the same time. I really like the feel of it. So it's funny to see Roto kind of tag along. He's like the new King Bomb of this area. You know, Nami's just kind of forcing him along as her slave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, the inside of it kind of reminds me of like an overgrown and taller Ennie's lobby. You know, because Ennie's lobby was so tall. Maybe that's where I'm getting it, but there's the one panel where they're like walking over the there's a bunch of like crossways that are like suspended up there, and I don't know if you've ever played it, but it reminds me of the Temple of the Ancients from Final Fantasy VII. Just the architecture.
No, I never played it.
Yeah, just the architecture, and like you see like the dark recesses that you can pop out of. It just reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's cool. And I thought it was interesting. Yeah, we see all the people that Loki allegedly slayed, but I think at the end of the chapter, I'm edging more towards the idea that he did do it, but that's just me. But kind of like looking at everything right here.
You mean that Loki did it, or?
Yeah, that Loki actually did it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going more towards that position right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because kind of like looking at here, we see King Harold. So he ripped out his horns. The scar on his head is the mark of his ancient giant blood. And to him, let's see. So basically, he didn't want to take on this ancient era of war. And so he was more of a peacekeeper king and things like that too, you know. And I think kind of one reason I'm inclining more towards the Loki, because the Loki is against peace, while I can see the God Knights being more inclined to thinking like, yeah, let's keep this guy in power, right? Because as we see towards the end of the chapter, they were the enemies, you know, because the giants conquered the world ones. So what's the best way of making your biggest foes non-conquerors? Well, you make them pacifists, so they don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah. My only thing with that is that I know that in our latest top 30 strongest characters, Jimperor put Loki way up there, but but unless like Loki could take on all these guards, like we haven't seen proof that he would be able to take on all these guards by himself, plus kill his father and everything. It just seems to me like it's too convenient. Like he took the fall for it. So that could also implicate Shanks in some way. Because we know it's Shanks that captured Loki. Although it may not be the case, but it was probably Shanks, because if it was this other person, they probably would have taken Loki to begin with. But we'll get to
exactly.
that at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, let's just say, usually when someone's implicated, let's just say the King Riku with Doflamingo situation, Riku knew he was framed for the whole thing, you know. So that would kind of be like a rehashing, a complete recopy. And I know Oda has done that before in some ways, but that's one thing to keep in mind. I feel like Loki picks up hockey. I think there's evidence of that he does. And when he sees Shamrock, he doesn't sense him at all, you know? Or when he hears his voice, he doesn't recognize, yo, you're the one that killed my father, right? Yeah. That didn't happen at all, you know?
That's true.
So I feel like he would recognize that for sure. Also, I don't think, so I think there's kind of like an issue there because like there is a shift here from the Giants where they are pacifists, you know, and Loki isn't in no way a pacifist, you know. So, and I think Loki's going to be probably stronger than Odin just by narrative standards, you know, of being introduced later in the story. So this would be a crazy feat that it's possible to do. And most Giants are not that powerful to begin with, in my humble opinion, you know. So him taking one giant taking out a bunch of other giants isn't that big of a deal to me, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when I was talking about it, I was thinking back with like Luffy taking out all those guys at Ennie's lobby, like he was just storming through initially.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, one thing.
It's kind of like Luffy right now taking out 100 Marine captains.
Yeah.
Oh wait, but like in Marineford, look at how many people he took out at his Conqueror's hockey blast, you know.
Yeah, I still think that there's room for Loki to be implicated some way in it, but I don't think it's fully his fault. I'm a Loki defender that he didn't fully.
I agree. Well, I think it's not as black and white as we make it out to be, but I also think his dad may have been a pawn of the God Knights as well.
Yeah.
You know.
But one thing I did want to touch on was the whole thing with the ancient giants getting. We see that some of them have horns, like they have their ancestry going back to the ancient giants. So I thought that was interesting, and that we see that Harald had it, and I was trying to find it for you before we started this discussion, but someone on Reddit found if you put Harald and Kaido next to each other, their facial structures are almost identical.
Oh, I can see it.
So I don't know if that's especially with like the horns and everything. So
yeah,
I'm wondering if somehow Kaido's related to like the ancient giants, and that's where like we got no explanation on the Oni from Wano. Just another.
No way.
Is the plot thread that was left dangling?
Wait.
Or is it
saying Wano didn't develop something and left it hanging?
Yeah, but it could be paid off here. But yeah, especially like with the horns, like Harald could look almost identical to Kaido, just bald. And that's I need to reread like the 4 pages that is Kaido's flashback to see exactly where he originated from. Because it would be interesting to see if he had some relation to the giants.
So true.
But because
best flashback ever.
Yeah, because he's physically big and everything, but I was also kind of taken aback how the one what was it? Okay, Harudin's mother was a giant from another nation. It's like, okay, we have multiple giant nations now.
Yeah.
Like, I thought Elbaf was it. So
yeah, I
don't know if they've like been taken over by the world government or what's going on with that, because that seems to come out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, that's the first time we've ever heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems kind of weird and kind of like an explanation how Haruden and Loki are half brothers. But speaking of Haruden, I did like the flashback he had with Rodo. We kind of get to see a little bit more of their relationship and how Haruden's kind of like kind of like a Luffy-esque character because he wants to be the king of the giants.
Right.
But yeah, I thought that was an interesting parallel there.
Yeah. And so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we get to the God Knights right here, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like the art and everything, and they do come off as pretty menacing, a lot more menacing than CP0 did. Because it's kind of what I expected CP0 to look like, but never came through, you know. So, just pretty brutal. We see an indicator that Loki has an observation hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
thought that was kind of interesting.
Do you think that that's what the arrows are? I thought that was a indication of Gunko's abilities. Kind of like, okay, have you ever seen Soul Eater?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there's this character Medusa. She's a witch, and she can create vector plates. It's like a giant arrow where she can make things move faster if they touch it. So and move in the direction that it goes. So it kind of reminds me of that. So I'm wondering if the arrows like accelerate the punch, and like having the I mean we see her walking on the arrow itself. So but yeah, I think that's I like her powers. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
She seems
no, they are cool.
Yeah, she seems like a Robin opponent, you know.
Yeah. So Mr. Shamrock is I didn't really. I mean, I guess it's not surprising, but like, yeah, just his hair, his fit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, Shamrock to me is kind of, it's expected. I don't like his name. I kind of thought his name would be more more like badass sounding, but but yeah, we can kind of assume that this is the person during the reverie who went to go talk to the Gorosei. So yeah, I wonder how this is going to affect everything, because we saw I mean, the last time we saw Luffy in this, they found the giants that were beaten up by Gunko and Shamrock. So yeah, just I don't know if he's gonna run into him, because he's gonna know that it's not Shanks just based on the feeling of the hockey and the scars.
Yeah.
But there's also, so we kind of knew about the Figureland connection because of Film Red. Do you wish that this had been kind of held off, like because it kind of planted that seed in our head back with Film Red? Would you have wanted it to be like just a manga exclusive reveal, or what do you think?
I thought it was maybe a little bit more edged out, you know, but I mean, no, it's not. I mean, I think it's kind of fun how they've been presenting things, you know, just a little drip, you know.
Yeah.
And it is kind of interesting to see it come full circle. So we're gonna have two Figurelands now, you know, Shanks' dad and Shanks' brother, you know. So I think it will be pretty interesting. I assume there's a lot of power here, you know. So
yeah,
I kind of think it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Jimper put not Shanks, now called Shamrock, as number 3, I think, in our top 30.
Oh goodness, that was not good.
Yeah, that's certainly. I don't know. We could see that come to fruition this year, but only time will tell.
Yeah.
But
right.
But yeah, I don't think Loki's dead here. I think he's just kind of knocked out.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, and his personality is interesting, and like I said, just like this exchange at the end makes me think that the government was behind the peaceful thing because they hate the fact that they're violent because it prevents them from conquering them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, and
right.
Shamrock's saying at the end, like, they're going to be under the command of the world government once and for all.
Right.
So.
Like, they've been trying to and keeping on failing, and then what's the thing that helped them to succeed was having a pacifist king on the throne, and then Loki didn't want that, and also Loki does not want to submit to them now to become a god knight.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, they could...
So...
Yeah, they could be going after Haruden, just because he's technically related to the king and everything. So,
So that's just kind of my theory, but I think the discrepancy of he's not as much of a bad guy as that they were as tainted. You know, like his dad was more corrupted, basically. You know, to do this. You know, so. That's kind of where I'm going with the whole thing, you know. So
maybe he recognized it, and that's why he killed him.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
You know, because it just does not make sense, you know, for the God Knight, you know, to have killed that pacifist king. You know, it's like they're made in a lab giant of what they want, you know.
Yeah, one that they can more easily control.
For sure,
yeah.
You know, and they've been continually making his dream manifest, right? And they keep on Loki being chained up and things like that. So, yeah, we'll see how things continue with that. But I do kind of want to say a side note. I was kind of thinking about this, you know. I think the Shamrocks and the Figurlins, like, I think they'll be more powerful. They've shown more feats than Dragon, for the record, you know. And, you know, they're related to Shanks, who is powerful. And I think some people will say, well, what about Dragon? You know, Dragon's related to Monkey D. Luffy, Monkey D. Garp. But I was just kind of thinking about this the other day. Sanji is insanely powerful, but Judge is not that powerful. So it is theoretically possible for Dragon to be weak.
That's true. He's still in our top 30 just based on Cloud alone.
Yes, but I'm just saying lineage isn't everything, but I think Shanks' family has shown more prowess than Dragon has at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like Figurlin, God Valley, the God's Valley, and then now he's commander of the God's Knights right here too, you know? And commander of the God's Knights seems to be kind of like an admiral-esque position. It's a combat position, you know.
Yeah.
The revolutionaries, they accept anyone.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder.
They have no standards.
Yeah. Shamrock must have just become the commander because wasn't Garling the commander beforehand, and he got promoted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this whole plan with Loki is Shamrock's thing now. It's like, okay, I'm in charge. I'm doing this. This is how we're gonna do things from now on.
Yeah, this seems to be like his pet project in a way for the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious to see if this guy has a power remotely close to Shanks's at all. I mean, it would be terrifying if that was the case.
Yeah. The emperor that the government has.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. So we'll see. Yeah, but great chapter, great step in the right direction.
Yeah, no break next week.
Oh yeah. For sure.
But yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you and not leave your comment below. Give your thoughts on the chapter. Who killed King Harald? You know. So yeah, give your thoughts. All right. We'll see you all guys soon. Peace.
See ya.